Good evening, Saugus. Welcome to our April 2025 Board of Trustees meeting at the Public Library of Saugus. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Nice to see you all at the Senior Center. Happy April. Spring is here. And my good friend, Trustee Faringo, would like to take the roll.
Sure. All right, Director Tebow.
Present.
Trustee Faringo is present. Chair Sullivan.
Present.
Trustee Bell.
Present.
Trustee Dion.
Present.
Present. Trustee Murray.
Present.
All right.
Thank you. So it's great to be back. We skipped last month. We're back this month. We'll be back next month. And library's been doing well. If you come into the library, you'll notice that we have Art in Bloom or Books in Bloom.
Books in Bloom, yes.
Books in Bloom, so feel free to stop by the library. And we're looking forward to a lovely, busy spring season. And on the agenda, let's see, public comments. I don't see any members of the public. Andrea didn't bring her kids down, so I guess we won't have any members of the public here this evening. And then we can move to the approval of the minutes. So you should see copies of the minutes as prepared by our acting secretary, Trustee Faringo, who yet to go for the permanent position. I didn't see anything worthy of correction or editing.
Got the dates right.
Let's go. All right, you making progress? Good. All right. I haven't had any correspondence from the public about erroneous dates or numbers, which is good. So we're going to keep that up. So if there are no issues with the minutes, we could have a vote, perhaps. So we could entertain a motion to...
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor of accepting the minutes as written by Trustee Faringo, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed?
I have to abstain.
You're abstaining? All right.
I wasn't here.
Fine. Excellent. So you do have enough folks. We have 4. Excellent. So motion approved. Thank you all. And then we can move on to the main event, which is Director Tebow updating us on the monthly financial statement.
If you'll all turn to page number 3, packet in front of you. And you'll see the financial summary for fiscal year 2025. 25% of the year remaining. We're in good shape, and I don't anticipate any problems. I don't see we're going to have any problems making the materials expenditure requirement for certification next year. So everything seems on schedule. A little bit left on the table in terms of salaries, but again, that's due to the retirements and lags between people leaving and people coming on board, and then people coming on board at lower pay scale, initial pay scale. So that's where that number comes from.
Okay.
Nothing to report yet under expenditures on professional development, but there will be a couple of things added to that. One is the training that we did last month. I still have to pay for the CPR AED training we did. And we have a member of the staff, Lisa Lejeune, will be attending the Massachusetts Library Association conference in June. So that'll...
Is it down the Cape again?
You know, I'm not sure where it is exactly. I knew it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah.
Yeah, they had it at the hotel years. I remember.
They like to have it in Hyannis.
Yeah, there's a hotel downtown Hyannis, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
It's right near Main Street.
So she's going to be down there for a couple of days.
Nice.
And,
Sounds like fun. Probably have a lot of fun after hours too. With
spend out
librarians.
a little bit more on that particular line.
Do we have all the state aid for this year?
We do. Yeah, and we got, goodness, it's $76,000.
Yeah. No, I didn't know based on what I've been reading.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine, and I'm not worried about the state aid numbers yet in terms of the IMLS, because that money comes from the lottery.
Right.
So it's kind of protected by law, state law, or statutes anyway. So that's probably not going to be messed with. The impact that we might see from the IMLS being winnowed down quite a bit, let's say, is going to be in terms of pass-throughs, money going to Noble for network fees and things like that. That may impact us in terms of what it costs for the membership in Noble. but I can't say, where we are on that right now. The other piece is there are some jobs at the MBLC, Mass Board of Library Commissioners, and at Noble headquarters that are paid for either directly or indirectly by grant money that funnels down from the IMLS.
So that might be the
There will
impact.
be impact, yes,
Okay.
there will definitely be impact, but I can't say at this point exactly what it's going to be. But state aid is safe for now.
Okay.
Thank you, Director Tebow. Any other comments, concerns, questions? Then we can move on to the main event, the monthly report.
All right, we're going to be closing early at 1 o'clock on April 18th, for the Good Friday holiday. This is a holiday that's in the collective bargaining agreement. Staff who work the 9 to 1 will get paid time and a half. Everybody else will get paid for the day at straight time if they're not scheduled to work that 9 to 1 shift. And we will have enough people to be open that day, no problem. We're going to reopen at 9 a.m. on Saturday, the 19th, and we'll also be closed on Monday, April 21st, in observance of Patriots' Day. Continental Air Cleaning was back in the building yesterday and today, and they've cleaned all the air ducts in the building. I don't know if you noticed, if you look at the ceiling, those black streaks that used to be there are gone, and the ducts are nice and clean. So they've done both floors now, and we're happy, and I guess we should thank
Trustee Yeager.
Trustee Emeritus Yeager for bringing our attention to
We
that
should
one.
invite her for a tour to inspect the ducks.
Yeah. Duck inspection.
Duck, here we go.
All right, we hosted a jazz trio this past Saturday at 2 o'clock in the community room. 22 people attended that concert. And we're going to host the Rasa String Quartet again. This will be the third year in a row on April 23rd at 6:30 in the third and final show of our spring music series. These concerts are paid for by a generous grant from the Saugus Cultural Council. The Island Trio we played here last month as the first concert. We had a attendance of 34 people, which
Wow.
was very,
Nice.
very good. So it's starting to finally get some traction. I'll talk about the strategic planning things when we get into new business, so I'll let that go for now. I met with Ranger Michael Parr last week, and we talked about the schedule for the summer concert series at the Ironworks. We weren't sure how many we were going to be able to hold. I'm still not sure what they're going to be able to pay for, but I assured him that we will cover the bands this year if we need to.
Yeah.
That he's going to do everything he can to make sure that they pick up their share as well, but we will cover it if we need to. I think it's important that we do this series and that we do it every week instead of just every other week, that sort of thing. So we're going to drive forward with that. And I heard from him on Monday to verify that they do have the overtime budget that they need, so they'll be able to keep the Ironworks open in those evenings for the concerts, so they'll be staffed, and the concerts are going to take place.
Good.
9 shows this year.
Wow.
We have one additional band that, on their own, obtained a cultural council grant, and they were judged to be of sufficient talent that we're going to go ahead and include them in the concert series as
Which
well.
band would that be?
It's a guy named Don Hammondtree. So that's good news. I'm really excited about that. Just as a bit of news, the town of Stoneham's Finance Committee recommended that the library be defunded beginning July 1st of 2025. Now, Stoneham is a noble community library. This, I believe, is coming from the fact that they were trying to get a Prop 2.5 overdrive through this year for town meeting, and it got defeated. So that's not going to happen. So this was, I guess, the FinCom's response to it to try to balance the budget. We don't know where this is going. They're holding meetings, and the library staff and trustees are advocating on behalf of the library. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. There are currently 4 communities in Massachusetts who aren't certified, and I don't even know where any of these communities are. Alfred, Monroe, New Ashford, and Savoy. One of them doesn't even have a library, so they wouldn't be certified anyway. The other 3 do, but they're not certified. And at present, Noble, or Stoneham rather, which is a Noble member, is not decertified. They are still certified. And I don't think they would become decertified prior to July 1st, if then. So once a library is decertified, we make a decision, we being this board makes a decision on whether or not to extend reciprocal borrowing privileges and sending books to them, that sort of thing. It's a vote each library takes locally to decide what they're going to do. Usual custom is that we will consult with library management in the town that has been decertified to find out how would you guys like us to handle this. Most often what they tell us is don't take care of our people, don't send us books, don't allow them to borrow your books. And the reason they'd like to do that is because it engenders some political pain on the town for defunding them. So I don't know what their approach is going to be, and we're certainly not bound by their recommendations. So, but it's all a bit premature because nothing's going to happen before July 1st, if then. So we'll have to wait and see.
I can't think of worse PR for a town than to decertify.
No.
It's happened before.
But
It's happened here.
It happened here.
Yeah, it's bad PR.
We came close when I was in Winthrop as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing to
Town
encourage.
manager Crabtree was the one that ensured that didn't happen. He
Right.
went to the board.
Yeah. Nothing to encourage new homeowners than a decertified library.
But one would think that Stoneham residents would go to Melrose or Wakefield before they come here anyway.
Well, but the problem again is that if any of those communities decide that they want to, and we're getting into hypotheticals here certainly, but we can't give them, if you have a patron from Stoneham and they're decertified, we can't give them a Saugus card. And even if we did give them a Saugus card, by noble policy, their home library would still have to be designated as Stoneham in their record because that's where they live.
So how would we handle this if 1 July, hypothetically, they become decertified and folks ask to have a card here, since it's the middle of the summer?
Well, there's still a noble member at that point.
No, but I mean, if they ask
Right.
for us to
Issue them a
intercede,
card, even if we do issue them a card, because their home
would
library.
we? Is I'm saying, how are we going to make that decision if the
I
board
would
is not able to meet? Do
Yeah.
we need to meet?
Well, we may have to meet.
Okay.
It's possible, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Yeah,
And
but even if we issue them a card, they can't use the library because their home library, if we've decided not to extend borrowing privileges to them, their home library is still Stoneham, not,
What a way to make
Saugus.
people go online.
yeah.
So is the library like closed if it's decertified, or?
Well, no, you can be open and be decertified, but when you're decertified, what happens is you lose eligibility for state aid to public libraries, number
Okay.
one. Number two, we send books out, we bring books in, you can't participate in that anymore.
Okay.
And your patrons are not allowed to go to other noble libraries and use them. Right now, if you've got a Stoneham card, you can go to Peabody, Beverly, Danvers, Saugus, Revere, any library you want. And with that Stoneham card, you can borrow books at that
Okay.
library.
And now
if
you
they
won't be
were
able to.
if they were decertified and we voted not to extend borrowing privileges to them, then they
Okay.
wouldn't be able to do that. So there's a lot that has to happen before that goes on, and that's discussion for another day that hopefully never comes,
Yeah.
as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. Yeah.
interesting.
It's a regrettable situation.
It'll be very interesting.
Put it-
Stoneham has open town meeting. It'll be very interesting.
Generally, you hope that they resolve this somehow before it gets to town meeting, but what the FinCom is putting forward is defunding them. I think that's kind of their
Yes.
recommendation, and now it has to go to town meeting. All right, so we'll see.
All righty.
And on that note, that's all I have.
Well, thank you.
That's enough.
All right, so any comments? Thanks again, Alan. Great job with the jazz series. I met Clark's parents from Saugus TV. Told them they have a very nice son. And I enjoyed the last tune, Taking the A Train.
Yes.
There is no Taking the Orange Line, Bill. You should probably work on that, maybe come up with the tune.
Sure.
T could probably sponsor a jazz band. And for new business, we have the strategic plan update, and we have a focus group. that'll be virtual, so I'm quite excited for that.
So we've been very busy here on the strategic plan. The thing about doing one of these plans is that you do a lot of work early on in the process, setting things up, establishing things, figuring things out, getting things scheduled. So it's kind of a flurry of activity for the first 60 to 90 days. And then it quiets down a bit. You start actually writing the plan. We're going to hold 2 SOAR exercises. These stand for, it's a forum where you identify strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and the results that you want from things. The strategic planning framework, and that helps us focus on stuff that we can do and what we want to do in the future with measurable results. So we're going to do 2 SOAR exercises with the staff, one on May 12th and one on the 14th. Okay, we'll have a we'll have a meeting before that, and I'll make sure that we vote on a early opening or a late opening and an early closure for those 2 days. And the staff will do them remotely here, kind of scattered around the building. And we'll also be doing some training on some changes to the catalog and the discovery system that we use with Evergreen. But the SOAR exercise is a 2-hour event, and then we'll do that other stuff for an hour afterwards. So I'll get back to you with the vote on that at the May 8th meeting, if that's when we decide to do it. So we're also going to hold a SOAR exercise, as we did last time we did it, with members of the combined boards from the trustees, the Friends, and the foundation on May 28th. That's probably going to be a 6 to 8 thing. It's going to be held remotely. So you'll be able to do it from the comfort of your own home via Zoom.
I love it.
And right now it's scheduled for 6 to 8, but that can be changed if it need be. We're also going to conduct a community online and in hard copy surveys during the month of May, and we're working on the questions for those now. There will be 2 surveys. There will be one that's intended for adults, which has sort of a detour that goes into children's questions for those adults who have children at home or are caregivers of children who use the library or might use the library. And a second one that'll be for teens. So we'll have 2 surveys going on in May. The plan right now is to do them concurrently, and we're looking at starting somewhere around the 5th, but that's not a hard date, so please don't hold me to that. So that's where we are right now. Excellent. On that. I also plan to send out invites to start up a community focus group who will likely also do some sort of a SOAR exercise, maybe in June. And that'll be sort of different people, cross-section of town, looking at different sorts of people in town, including people who aren't necessarily library users. This group will have, it'll be a group of about 10 or 12 people, and their responsibility will be not only to do the SOAR exercise like everybody else to give us more input, but of course they're also going to be the ones who get the first look at the draft plan before it goes out, so we get somebody outside of our own organization kind of looking at it and telling us, what they think of what we've done and, how well we kind of hewed to what our mission was and that sort of thing. So. Beyond that, it's a matter of writing the goals and objectives. Instead of planning it out in detail as we did last time, what I plan to do this year is have the areas and the goals set up, and then on an annual basis, I'll write an action plan that'll say these are the things we're going to do this year to try to get it done, and then report back either at the end of the year or maybe once or twice during the year as we're going through it on how we're doing on it. So it'll give us a little more flexibility.
Yeah, because we were very ambitious.
Yeah, and I found the way that we set it up with all of the things laid out on a timeline, the whole thing just became unwieldy after about the second year, particularly with COVID. There was a lot of stuff we wanted to do we couldn't do, and it became harder and harder to keep track of where we were and what was going on. So I think this year we're going to pare it back in execution, and I think it'll work better for us.
Yeah, bite it off in smaller chunks.
Right. This will be a 6-year plan instead of 5. There's a reason for that.
Which is?
Which is that I will probably be retiring at some point in the next 5 to 6 years. I think probably in about 5 years, no later than. And I don't want to walk out the door the same year a plan has to be written.
Understood.
So that'll give you a year or more on that plan before we have to move into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
We can't
That's
get you to
great
stay forever.
continuity.
Time marches on.
No, 70s is the new 60.
65 feels like the old 85 to me.
Alan, what are these spring break scavenger hunts? You've got them all week.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing that happens.
Is that inside the
It happens in
building?
the children's room primarily.
Oh, okay.
And they'll pick a theme and they'll put things around the building, little figures, drawings.
Little
that-
characters or
Little
something, yeah.
characters, and
We've done
kids will come in and they'll take a clipboard with a piece of paper on it with all the things, and they have to circle it when they find it. If they
Oh,
find it,
that
then
sounds
they
like
get a
fun.
little prize. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually very popular, and it's a good way to get the kids in during vacation.
And that's for what age group?
Any age group, but usually the ones who do it are between about 4 and
10
7 or
or-
7 or
yeah,
8, 10. Yeah. I've seen kids come in who actually could have been up in the YA room who have gone through and done it and had a good time. So
All right, so I'm looking forward to May 28th. That'll be fun.
get your thinking caps on.
Oh, I'm thinking all right. I would think too much. I can introduce Vermi to everybody too on the video.
Wormy?
Vermi, the bearded dragon. And anything else? Someone? Any other thoughts from the trustees? Or any questions? All right. Well, thanks again for all the hard work on the strategic plan.
Ways to go.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I would figure our next meeting would be Thursday, May 8th. If that works with everyone.
Could we push that to the 15th? If not, that's fine, but
Well, we need to vote on early closure for the 12th.
15th is bad for me.
Yeah. So we could do the 12th, because we have to vote to close early. I would say we stick to the 8th.
Well, if that's the only reason that would keep you from doing it on the 15th, you could somehow come up with some language that would cover our options for that, I think.
not a problem. If you can't do it, you can't do it. I will be on travel.
I might be out of town on the 14th, so I may not be back. So we could do the 15th bad for you, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can do it, I just won't be here.
Well, we could stick to the 8th for now.
Either day works for me.
Okay,
All right, so I will not be here on the 8th.
okay. So we can stick to the 8th for now. And, because Alan has those meetings that we have to figure out early closure. So, all right. Any other concerns, comments, questions? All right, well, if I could have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:29.
Motion to adjourn?
Someone second said motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
All right. Any opposed? Excellent. Well, we'll see everyone next month. Thank you, Saugus. A good night, Senior Center. See you guys soon, and have a happy Easter if you celebrate that, whether it's Catholic, Greek, or whatever. And everybody have a good rest of the month. Thank you.